It's a question that I don't know. I don't know how I even need to approach this question. But let me say this. I am not against God. I'm not against Christianity. Though I'm very much against religion called Christianity. Any religion at all. I know the damage and the danger of religion in society. I know how religion operates. I know the power of religion. I know why Jesus would not make friends with religion or religion leaders. He never at any time associate or agree with them. Throughout his life, there was no time in his life when they have a common ground. There was none. So if Christ himself, who happens to be the example of our life, does not have a relationship with religion, if Christianity was supposed to be a way of life is becoming a religion in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, I am not going to keep quiet because I've seen the danger of religion and I know why we need to all fight it and bring it to his name. So, but against God, who can be against God actually? How can you be against God? You will self-destroy yourself. That is the point. You will just destroy yourself. How can you be against God? God cannot be against. So that is not even matter to discuss at all. Yes, I am not against God and I'm not against Christ. And Bible is not the only materials God gave to man. Bible is not given to us as a standard that cannot be questioned. So Bible is written by a set of people who are inspired. And we also see some stories in Bible, we also see some writings in Bible that does not even represent Christ, represent God. They are mere stories of group of people who happen to have their story written in the Bible. So the Judaism that was in practice before Christianity cannot be for me because I am a Christian. And by virtue of tribe and gender and where I come from, I am a Gentile. And the law of Moses is not written for the Gentiles. The story of the Jews is not written for Yoruba man. So Bible is combination of the story of the Jews, the practice of Judaism, and the teachings of Christ. I am only connected to Bible in basis of what Christ teaches. Should I say don't learn from what the story of the Jews or Judaism preaches? Of course, wherever we get values, wherever we can get virtues, wherever that is profitable, that can edify, we can learn from it. But no one should see the story of these people superior to the stories of others. Yoruba people have their own stories, Hausa their own stories. Because their own stories are not written in any particular book, does not mean they are inferior to those who have their own story written in the Bible. So I'm not against God, I'm not against Christ. We have not had a encounter with God until the coming of Christ. Christ is the one that brought God back to humanity. All of us were experiencing our whole life in the path, whatever we call them, and we see wickedness being perpetrated by different kind of these people. Then you call that God? You think that's supposed to be the characters that we are going to emulate in the Bible? No. Some of us will take the bold step to challenge it. And I know it does not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to have consequences. We are willing to face and to accept the consequences whenever they come. Okay, let's come to it. God inspired Paul to write epistles, Peter to write some books, John Beloved to write to 7 churches. But God, who inspired these ones, if he had not inspired others that produce paper, ink, and pen, those inspirations of Paul will have remained in the mind of Paul. At best, he would have shared the story with others verbatim. As a matter of fact, imagine that those who were given to these people, there was no means in which they can put them on paper. It will have remained a word that within them. For example, Paul was in prison for several years where he wrote many epistles. It was ability that God inspired other people to write, to develop materials through which they can write these things. That is only why we can be able to spread the message. And also, scientists or philosophers, accountants, artistics, many writings, materials that have made the world a better place for us to live today must not and has to stop. We need to stop that now. Must not be seen inferior to any epistles of the apostles. Never. You know why it must not be seen as inferior? Because if those things are not discovered by people, our world would have been a mess. Imagine that God did not inspire somebody to discover the bricks. God didn't inspire anybody to discover roofing. God didn't inspire anybody to discover drum set, to discover microphone, to discover chair, to discover clothes, to discover shoe. God didn't inspire anybody. It's only that what God has inspired Paul, that's only inspiration. And so all these things are not available for us. The pastor will be naked, standing under the tree, preaching to the people, to his members. The best they can do is to go and get leave and cover their body. When Africa got this mentality of the epistle of Paul is superior to the findings of Galileo, it's a mirage, it's a nonsense. Stop. A child will grow up in Africa, he will be mandated to memorize Quran. He must read Quran. He must read millions of words and memorize it on his head. But if that child we take the same habit towards studying biology, memorizing the principles and the theories of discovery by Aristotle in biology, he will be able to provide solutions that will stop us from dying from virus. But we are not thinking in that manner. We tarry in place of studying the word. We tarry in place. In fact, many of us will go to night class to go and read Bible overnight while we're in school. When exam come, we read our book to pass. When we get A from those people, we will say it's not by mark, it is by grace. No. We need to come to a point where we know that anyone who read Bible have not done anything wrong. It's okay to read Bible. If Bible will help you to develop in terms of character development, in terms of value development, read them. But the same value we place on Bible, we must place them also in. Today, I will say to you that in some churches, if you quote the book of these philosophers or you quote the book of these scientists, they will say you are preaching heresy. That the pulpit is not a place to be quoting John Maxwell, to be quoting John Dawes, to be quoting Plato's. And these people, who are saying this thing, they are holding the product of these people. If you quote any quote that comes from Mark Zuckerberg on the altar, they will say, why will you be quoting Mark Zuckerberg when you have not finished quoting John Apostle, you have not finished quoting Apostle Paul, Apostle James? When the same church is live streaming on the platform of Mark Zuckerberg, isn't that stupidity? We need to come to a point where we know that God will use Paul, will use Peter, who use apostles, also are using these people to develop our world. It's the same God who is using these people to develop our world. Even those people may claim to be an atheist. That was another topic of another day. Because atheism to me does not exist. It's a thing of mind. They don't know there's nothing like atheist. But either they claim to be an atheist or not, the material of these people has made the world a better place. And let me tell you, God is a giver of every good thing. See, all good thing that comes to us come from God. So if God gave us all the good things that we have ever had, through whoever is giving it to us, we must reference them. If you have a way to invite the person to come and preach in your church to your members, bring them. That's why I'm saying God will inspire Paul, inspire scientists. Because without the product of scientists, even the pastor will be naked walking on the street. Yes, we can learn about God out of Bible. We can learn about God reading Bible. We can also learn about God from other God-given materials. The problem we have in this part of the world is that we have limited God to Bible, and if it's not written from the Bible, it's not God. It's a lie. God is a giver of all knowledge. When you read about the understanding of geography, you are discovering God and his creation. When you read about chemistry, you are discovering God and the thing He has given to man. The magnificence and the mightiness of God can be discovered in understanding physics. When you understand physics from the perspective of a creation behind the scene, making all this thing work, you will know how mighty God is. But if I begin to let you know that, if you are talking about God, let's search the Bible. Do you know that to quote Bible in the midst of Muslim is like you are quoting Aram, you are speaking nonsense. If you come to the midst of Christian as well to quote Quran, it's as if you have deviated from Christ. So that shows to us that which of these books, even within Christianity, within Christians, within Christianity as a practice, you cannot quote Pentecostal Bible, that is King James Bible, in the midst of Jehovah's Witness. You can't quote Jehovah's Witness Bible in the midst of Latter Day. You can't quote this Bible I mentioned in Catholic. So which of the Bible am I going to depend on to find God alone? Because the Jehovah's Witness say, my home Bible as a Pentecostal, it's not right. The one of the Jehovah's Witness I said is not right. So therefore, I believe that I will say any material that had value to man, that point man to God, that showed man what God has done and how God did them, that make man want to appreciate the works of God, should be embraced, should be accepted, should be swallowed, because there we can find God. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to answer these questions. You know what? I'll be answering questions like this often, and I want you to do me a favor. When you see this video, drop your message below, and I will attend to those questions. I will gather those questions, and I will answer them. Till next time we have opportunity to get to talk on this platform, remain is regular is Balogun. Don't forget to follow me on all my platforms, Wellness Africa Initiative, and I'll see you there. God bless you. Shalom.